Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to have the five family of the mobs in New York. First, I'm going to read each paragraph, then I'm going to play back the audio. If anyone doesn't understand me, first is the five family. Five family. Maiko given to the five major Italian American mafia family in New York City, Bonino, Cambalo, Calambo, Gambino, Giovannis, and Lutis. The family and their inner working were public revealed in 1963 when Mafia Shorter testified at a controversial hearing. The heyday of the five family is confined to roughly four decades from 1931 when Sabino Mazzano formed the consortium in 1970 when the United States passed the RINCO RICO Act. While the family priests they no longer hold the power they once did. Now I'm gonna play back the video, the audio video. What's up, Elo? With the article, I don't know. I'm with the article, Elo. I don't know. That's why I put the article in there. You know, background and information. The five family were organized after the end of the Cachuan War. The name given to a violent power success between Joe Marcia and Madonna in the 1931. Mazzone fiction made the decision to accept Marcia. The plot was designed and overseen by Lucy Lachano. Mazzano, lieutenant in the power vacuum created by Masona Murder Mazzano, recognized the mafia power structure. He recognized the groups that would become the five families then known as the Luchon, Gazzano, Madonna, Mazzano, and Pafano outfits and demanded the with prevalent territories. Each family now had to discard orders of Attorney Boris or Don and underboss, lieutenants, and soldiers. Maradona also declared himself capo di todo as cap or boss of all bosses, including making himself the supreme authority of the mafia. Later in 1931, Letourneau had murdered devolved the capital title through its he making much of the power and organization. The commission, which Italy considered of the heads of the five family, the Buffalo, New York Mafia, and the Chicago outfit. Letourneau served as the chairman. They met to discuss share issues and maintain any accurate conflict the argument at a big continuity to many and outright. A hostility at times used in the new era of cooperation and success for the Italian American Mafia. Over some 3 decades, the five families assumed great power and with, however, with the enactment of the RICO Act in 1970, the Mafia and the five family entered a period of declared horror events to combat organized crime. The act resumed a New Zealand event in addition the program of the Liberty Prison sentence led many Rocky members to become infamous.
Background and formation. The five families were organized after the end of the Castellammarese War, the name given to a violent power struggle between Joe Masseria and Maranzano. In 1931, Maranzano's faction made the decision to assassinate Masseria. The plot was devised and overseen by Lucky Luciano, Maranzano's lieutenant. In the power vacuum created by Masseria's murder, Maranzano reorganized the Mafia's power structure. He recognized the groups that would become the five families, and known as the Luciano, Gagliano, Mangano, Maranzano, and Profassi outfits, and demarcated their respective territories. Each family now had, in descending order of authority, a boss, or don, an underboss, lieutenants, and soldiers. Maranzano also declared himself capo di tutti I capi, or boss of all bosses, essentially making himself the supreme authority of the Mafia. Later in 1931, Luciano had Maranzano murdered. Disavowed the capo di tutti I capi title, though he maintained much of the power, and organized the commission, which initially consisted of the heads of the five families. The Buffalo, New York Mafia, and the Chicago outfit, Luciano served as the chairman. They met to discuss shared issues and mediate internecine conflicts. This arrangement, albeit constantly tenuous and outright hostile at times, ushered in a new era of cooperation and success for the Italian-American Mafia. Over some 3 decades, the five families amassed great power and wealth. However, with the enactment of the RICO Act in 1970, the Mafia and the five families entered a period of decline. Hugely effective in combating organized crime, the act resulted in numerous convictions. In addition, the prospect of lengthy prison sentences led many Mafia members to become informants.
Man, I never heard that RICO Act. I was very surprised. I never heard the RICO Act before. And a broken fist, look at the article. I don't know nothing about either. Read the article. That's not. That's the people want to pick yesterday. Everybody gotta know the history. If you guys don't like it, too bad. Okay, the Liuccius family. The Liuccius family was originally called the Gardino family after Tommy Gideon, who rose to power for guaranteeing, death to the Castellano War when Gideon died in 1951. Tommy of the Finger Brown, Lucio became boss and renamed the family the Lucio alongside the Gambinos, control the trucking and garment industry. Well, I didn't know that. Wow. Huh. Interesting. New York, they also wield major influence over a number of labor unions and trade organizations in 1978. One of the family associates, Jane Bird, is believed to have mastermind the Lutheran Heath, in which some 5.8 million in cash and jewelry were stolen from JFK Kennedy International Airport. In New York City, a state the family politically controlled at the time, it was the largest cash thief in American history, similar to other families. The Lucius were all involved trafficking heroin in the second half of the 1980s. Valentino Ludovic Vic and Zoom took over his boss on sharing in the period of ignorant bloody infinite in 1992. He was convicted on the various charges and received a life sentence. However, he continued to hit the family from prison. Now I'm going to do back to the audio thing.
Lucchese family. The Lucchese family was originally called the Gagliano family after Tommy Gagliano, who rose to power following Gaetano, Tommy, Rena's death in the Castellammare War. When Gagliano died in 1951, Tommy, or Three Finger Brown, Lucchese became boss and renamed the family. The Lucchese, alongside the Gambinos, controlled the trucking and garment industries in New York. They also wielded major influence over a number of labor unions and trade organizations. In 1978, one of the family's associates, Jimmy Burke, is believed to have masterminded the Lufthansa heist, in which some $5.8 billion in cash and jewels were stolen from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City, a site the family purportedly controlled. At the time, it was the largest cash theft in American history. Similar to other families, the Lucchese's were also involved in narcotics trafficking, particularly heroin. In the second half of the 1980s, Vittorio Little Vic Amuso took over as boss, ushering in a period of extraordinarily bloody infighting. In 1992, he was convicted on various charges and received a life sentence. However, he continued to head the family from prison.
Damn. You guys see that TV series called The Monster, called all by the mobbers on the History Channel back in a year and a half ago, talking about the mob. Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't know that they control the industry in New York. Wow, interesting. I still have more to read. The Badino family. The Babino family is named for Joseph J. Joe Bananas. Badino, who became leader after the death of Mananozo, one of the longest service bosses in mafia history. Badino was in power for more than 30 years, during which time the family was in promised it was literally against to loan sharks, gambling, narcotics, and politics. Badino attempted to take control of the mafia in 1964, but his enemies were tapped off and he was forced to into hiding. After his emergency, he was granted retirement. The power vacuum, along with the success of RRCO cases against the family, led to a period of years. In 1976, FBI agent Joseph Pastino, alias Donna Bresco, infiltrated the Badino family and went undetected for years. That bridge results in the family losing its seat of the commission. However, it was resigned by Joseph Mayone in 1990s. The family was later headed by Michael the Zone Meridian. Now I'm going to play back that audio.
Bonanno family. The Bonanno family is named for Joseph, Joe Bonanno, Bonanno, who became leader after the death of Maranzano, one of the longest-serving bosses in mafia history. Bonanno was in power for more than 30 years, during which time the family rose in prominence. It was largely engaged in loan sharking, gambling, narcotics, and prostitution. Bonanno attempted to take control of the mafia in 1964, but his enemies were tipped off, and he was forced into hiding. Upon his emergence, he was granted retirement. The power vacuum, along with the success of RICO cases against the family, led to a period of unrest. In 1976, FBI agent Joseph Pistone, alias Donnie Brasco, infiltrated the Bonanno family and went undetected for years. That breach resulted in the family losing its seat on the commission. However, it was regained by Joseph Massino in the 1990s. The family was later headed by Michael, the Nose Mancuso.
The Columbia family, the group that eventually became the Camorra family, was first controlled by Joseph Perfino, who served as boss until his death in 1962. His brother-in-law Joseph Maynone assumed power and plotted with Joseph Badino to assist the leaders of the Gambino and the Lucchini families. The plan, however, was relayed to the commission, but the top assassins, Joseph Gambino, a reward. He was made leader in the family in 1964. Columbia Pereira excused the FBI, of which Rachel performed after the RICO Act was passed, and he later founded the Italian American Civil Rights. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Interesting. Legion has with other family, the Gambino made the money from married exit activities, including extortion and drug trafficking. In 2011, the Columbia family was defined by a series of arrests, leaving the family without any asset. 2011, that's only like about 12, 13 years ago. Wow.
Colombo family. The group that eventually became the Colombo family was first controlled by Joseph Profassi, who served as boss until his death in 1962. His brother-in-law, Joseph Magliocco, assumed power and plotted with Joseph Bonanno to assassinate the leaders of the Gambino and Lucchese families. The plan, however, was revealed to the commission by their top assassin, Joseph Colombo. As a reward, he was made leader of the family in 1964. Colombo publicly accused the FBI of racial profiling after the RICO Act was passed. and he later founded the Italian-American Civil Rights League. As with other families, the Colombos made their money from myriad illicit activities, including extortion and drug trafficking. In 2011, the Colombo family was decimated by a series of arrests, leaving the family without an apparent boss.
The Gambino family. The Gambino family originated in the early 1900s with Salvador de Acure as their first date after he was killed in 1928. There were series of bosses include Vincent Mayoni, who assumed control in 1931 when the five family were first recognized. 20 years later, he was killed, reported by Albert Estina, head of the No-Case Murder for his organization. Noah has Murder Inc. Estina became boss, but his violent reign ended 6 years later with his murder in 1957. Carlo Gamboni that took control and renamed the family during the churches, which is listed until 1976. Gambino reportedly became the boss of bosses, and the family became extremely powerful after ordering a hit on Gambino Session Paul Castantino in 1985. John Cardino served as the boss for a number of years. He continued the family involved in narcotics, trafficking, and racketeering. Well, I didn't know that. While integrating more illegal business, Cardino was later convicted of various crimes, including Castantino murders, leadership of the family, change on charge of Silvio, including with Frank Kelly, and serving Gambino boss from 2015 to 2019 when he was murdered. Wow, that's about 2 years ago. Wow, very interesting.
Gambino family. The Gambino family's origins date to the early 1900s, with Salvatore d'Aquila as the first leader. After he was killed in 1928, there were a series of bosses, including Vincent Mangano, who assumed control in 1931 when the five families were first recognized. 20 years later he was killed, reportedly by Albert Anastasia, head of a notorious murder-for-hire organization known as Murder, Inc. Anastasia became boss, but his violent reign ended 6 years later with his murder in 1957. Carlo Gambino then took control and renamed the family. During his tenure, which lasted until 1976, Gambino reputedly became the boss of bosses, and the family became extremely powerful. After ordering a hit on Gambino's successor Paul Castellano in 1985, John Gotti served as the boss for a number of years. He continued the family's involvement in narcotics trafficking and racketeering while establishing
Okay, the Gavino family. The Latino family, as it was known, was headed by Lico Latino, whose second in command, Bertoli Cardino, after Luther was deposed to Italy in 1964. Ever Catino took over, but fed up from governing the Lady order to hit on Calvin in 1957. After he served, Castino was replaced by Gaffino, who renamed the family and renamed the family, become the boss of bosses following killing death in 1969. But then claimed check and extreme control. He was a family and became the boss and he was often called the Godfather because of the territory he wandered in New York City, in pajamas and a battle which posted demand tech to avoid being declared compared to Set title in 1990, the family reportedly became expected product for entry to the part of the conscience. In 1977, Cadena was sentenced to prison for reckoning and other like that in 2005. Lieutenant became boss. The government made much of the money by trafficking narcotics to ports in which they controlled the works.
Genevieve's family, the Luciano family, as it was then known, was initially headed by Lucky Luciano, whose second in command was Vito Genevieve. After Luciano was deported to Italy in 1946, Frank Costello took over but faced opposition from Genevieve. The latter ordered a hit on Costello in 1957. Although he survived, Costello was replaced by Genevieve, who renamed the family and effectively became the boss of bosses. Following Genevieve's death in 1969, Vincent Chin Gigante assumed control. He was often called the Oddfather because of his tendency to wander around New York City in pajamas and a bathrobe, which prosecutors deemed a tactic to avoid being declared competent to stand trial. In the 1990s, the family reportedly became especially powerful, aided, in part, by their caution and secrecy. Nevertheless, in 1997 Gigante was sentenced to prison for racketeering and other crimes. After Gigante's death in 2005, Liborio Bellomo became boss. The Genevieves made much of their money by trafficking narcotics through ports in which they controlled the workers' unions.
Very interesting. I wonder if I wanted to start in New York first, then going to the Vegas, the mobs. I wonder. Very, very interesting. I gotta get into more of this. I wonder if the mob started in New York or they started in Vegas. Or Nevada. Very interesting. I wonder if you have mobs in California too, back in the history. Man, New York have man, man, a lot of mobs in New York back in the days until 2019. And amazing what you learn in about history. Very amazing. I wish I was know I know more about history about the mobs, but in high school they never even teach that. What you guys think on about article? You know? I know some people don't like it, but it's history. You know? They have to get we have to get fresh in our mind. Maybe I'm gonna do a one topic, how the money started, the currency, how how they fund the currency, how they get the money first, currency. That's gonna be my next topic. How do we get the currency? You know, I wonder if the families of the five in New York mob is continue doing it. You know, if their ancestor took it over, the father, the sons, or the grandsons. I wonder if I wonder. Hmm? could do a topic. I could do a topic on the Cortez, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. You know, they have a lot. I could do a lot of topics of our United States to see what the history is. You know. Oh, maybe I could do a topic on Cynthia. You know, maybe, you know. I'm joking, Cynthia, you know. Well, hey guys, that's all I have, the topic. Please don't forget, check out my other channel for more games and singing. If you do not sub it, you missed a lot. Please sub my second channel. I'm going to sing and play more games today. Not this channel, my other channel. Guys, please share the channel. I'm going to get up to 300 people on my other channel. That's it I'm looking for. Check out my other channel for more games and singing. It's under the banner. And don't forget to sub. And don't forget to film the cops. You guys take it easy. I see you back at 5. Bye-bye.